Hi friends, thank you for joining me for Sherry's DIY Secrets. Today I'm going to be creating a wall sconce using a for sale sign. Difficult? Not so much. So let's go ahead and get started.
Now this sign is actually 15 by 19 inches. For step 1, I'm going to cut the sign in half horizontally, but I'm only going to use one of those halves. For step 2, I'll take that half and cut the sign at 7.5 inches, forming two pieces that I'll actually use to create the wall sconce. Believe it or not, that metal apparatus you see is a device that we use to roast chickens upright in the oven. So obviously we're not going to be using it for chicken any longer. Here I'm using it to get a more accurate size for each side of the sconce I'll need.
Now it's time to paint, and I'm going to be using a gold metallic spray paint on both the front and the back side of what will be our wall sconce. Let's do this.
Before you start spraying, you'll want to make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. I always suggest going outside. And be sure to wear protection such as a mask so that you're not inhaling any fumes. As you spray, go in a sweeping motion and be sure to start spraying inches before you hit that target area, and you'll want to stop spraying an inch or so after the target area. This is going to avoid any uneven paint as well as give your end product a cleaner look.
Now that the paint is dry, let's go ahead and assemble the pieces to create this wall sconce.
I used a ruler to measure every half inch and I marked it. And I used the hot glue gun to hold 10 beaded gems in each one of those marked spaces.
So here's an update of what's going on. I put the beads on the bottom of the sconce, but 10 beads were rather heavy. So I've decided to cut them in half, and that's what I've started doing here. And I'm going to use, instead of 10 beads, I'm going to use 5. So the other 5 are going on the other side of the sconce, and I'll show it to you in just a moment.
I cut about 1/3 of 2 compression sticks. Those will be used to hold each puck light in place on the top and the bottom of the metal support. I use more compression sticks throughout to add support to the sconce. Using a hot glue gun and the gold ribbon, I adjoin the two sides of the sconce. This will be the front-facing edge when the sconce is done. And I used a little painter's tape to secure it while I worked on the next step. Now it's time to glue on the metal support. And I'm sorry folks, I see my hand got in the way. But I'm hot gluing it to the top of the compression support sticks that's on the opposite end of the beaded side. I'll do this on one side and then the other. I really like the gold edging, so I decided to use the ribbon on all sides of the sconce. You know I'm all about my detail. Then I continued to add more support using the compression sticks. Now, folks, I know you're probably saying, that's a lot of sticks that she's using, but I promise you, you won't even notice it when it's done. And if we're going to have detail, we simply must follow that up with embellishments. And what better embellishment is there than fake diamonds? Okay, so I know someone out there is going to tell me that these aren't fake diamonds, and I know that. But for the sake of argument, let's call it that trendy word, bling. So I'm putting bling on every corner of this sconce. We're getting close to the end here, people.
Now, friends, it's time for the big reveal. Well, that does it for this DIY project. I hope it inspires you to do a DIY project of your own. I'll leave all of the materials that I used for this project in the comments section. Be sure to join me next time for another DIY project on Sherry's DIY Secrets. Bye, friends.
See you soon.